Welcome to Perspectives in Mobile, the news podcast from the Mobile Ecosystem Forum. Join us discussing the world of telecommunications, technology, and mobile innovations. From London, Dario Betti, MEF CEO.
Hello everyone from Dario Betti. Welcome, very welcome to Perspective, the podcast of a mobile ecosystem forum that looks at the different ideas, services, people that makes the ecosystem of mobile. And today, a very welcome to Viktorija Radman, the Telecom Business Director at Infobip. Viktorija, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, Dario. It's my pleasure to be with you today and to share my perspectives on the topics we will discuss.
Exactly. So let's reveal it straight away. Viktorija, you worked for more than 6 years on these topics. You went through the path, right? So what's your perspective on network APIs?
Yeah, first to maybe share that network APIs, we call that as maybe for the last 1 year or something like that. Previously, we call it mobile connect or mobile identity or some other APIs. But now we have this great umbrella of network APIs where we are introducing new use cases which are more related to 5G network capacity, etc. But if you ask me, my perspective over the last 6 years is built on a lot of potential, but slow in execution. I do believe we have, if you are looking on different kind of analysis and the research, you will see different huge numbers of the potential revenue by 2030, for example. And of course, we can debate if that numbers are correct or not correct, or do we believe in that or not. Being here already for 6 years, I do believe there is a demand and a need, because when we are talking with our clients, where we are seeing the market, especially now moving in the digital space, we need those APIs. We need fraud protection APIs. We need a better capacity on a network. We all need that. But in order to get to the market, first we need to solve some challenges down there on the ground. With the APIs availability, with simplification, with the collaboration of all three, with the market share, etc., etc. So the APIs that are today live are for sure not network APIs, are not quality on demand, are not edge network. They are still live, but they still don't have a proper reach. But the APIs that we are working and monetizing already are more in the fraud prevention scape, like CSO detection, number verify, device status, call scam, etc., etc. So, and for those ones which are already here for years, finally have some proper reach and finally have some standardization that is bring with Open Gateway and Camara standards, is bringing some positive results and the proper revenue and the clients that are finally seeing the value. Because what we want to show is the value. It's not the API. We have APIs. Everyone can do the APIs, but we need to show the use cases and the value to the market.
Yeah. So you seem to point out there's a bit of a marketing challenge there. Network API is a very broad and a very umbrella terms. But today, with you, we're not talking about all of them. We're probably focusing on the ones that are available today to combat mobile fraud and what all the things around it as well. How's that?
So if we want to have some effective tool, for example, to detect the fraudster action, and if you consider that probably more than 70% of any kind of internet interaction are happening over mobile device, right? This mobile device is almost like our right hand. We are doing everything there, from socializing to banking to, I don't know, ordering, whatever, meaning that this device is almost our identity. Our MSSDN is our almost like a national ID. It's not, but it is. Then you have the operators which are holding this information in their data sets, and the real time, some of them of course are static, some of them are dynamic, changing constantly. And if you can reach and validate any point set in a real time, in a second receive the reply, of course those solutions are effective and needed. But what is available at the moment? So you can validate IP address, meaning if the actions is happening on the device that is holding that IP address at the moment of the session. So some kind of minimizing man-in-the-middle attack can be done. Then you can check if SIM changed in the last, even to the minute point, if SIM changed in the last few minutes to, I don't know, several days or even months in past. Then if the call is at the moment ongoing, if you are providing to PIN to someone who should type the PIN, for example. Then if your number was recycled and then now someone else is holding that number that you communicate with that person, I don't know, 6 months ago from the business side of perspective. So different kind of points that can be validated over the simple usage of APIs, and it's available globally already today. We can see that brands are using it. We can see the values for it. During the MVC now in a month, we will present the case study of the number verified with the concrete numbers, meaning the conversion rate, the time needed, etc., which I think it's very valuable for the market to understand if we want to compare it with other solutions that are on the market available for authentication, etc. So I do believe if you're seeing mobile network operators as a trusted companies, and we all are, because they are the one that should be strict with the different kind of regulation, etc., in order to keep the licenses. They need to take care about the data protection. They cannot sell those data just because of the revenue. They really need to take care about you as a person and the data set that they are storing about. So you can still, on a regulate GDPR order way, validate the data sets that you need in order to be sure that this is the person that you really communicate in the digital world.
That's interesting. And I mean, you are Infobip, you are CPaaS providers, you've been managing multiple solutions, but one of them, very big, is SMS. So is this a complement or is it a replacement of SMS? How would you describe it to the industry out there?
I would for sure say it's complement. First of all, this SMS is here for years. We need some additional better security, easier, simpler better user experience solution for the same purpose. SMS is here. It will stay for long because it's reachable all the time. Doesn't matter if you're on a Wi-Fi or the data network, you will always be able to receive SMS. But if you compare it with the number verified, which is still the solution of mobile network operators, is not some third-party solution. First of all, everything is done over the network of the mobile network operators, is bringing additional security. And of course, always fallback to SMS can be done. But some of the very strong players that are taking very strict risk, checks for the fraud prevention, they are not seeing SMS anymore as a proven solution. Some of the countries already in APAC are forbidding banks to use SMS for authentication service. So operators should bring something to the world which is better, let's say, than SMS, but still use SMS and as a fallback and as a different, as well other for the different kind of checks that are needed there. But we cannot rely anymore just on SMS, unfortunately. I mean, luckily, operators have another solution they can offer to the market, which is better. SMS will stay, but the better solution they can bring to the businesses for sure.
And we talked about mobile operators for Infobip being a CPaaS. So how does this relationship work? Why is a CPaaS necessary to a telecom operator to use?
Yeah, I believe one thing, so when I started 6 years ago, having the APIs available, talking with the brands, not having a proper CPaaS as we have today, it was early start. We were just selling the APIs, not the value, not the use cases, not the solutions. It was really hard. Because you need to come to market and present the value. You need to come and present the whole use case. No one is really asking you for APIs. They need to understand what value you are bringing. They don't care if it's API, if it's something third. They are talking with you about what value you are bringing to the table, how you can help me with my challenges. So having the CPaaS an opportunity to create the use cases, to create the different kind of flows, this is something that now we are seeing it's very, very much important and can bring a lot of benefit for different channels as well in combination with APIs. We are building few solutions in different regions, different verticals of the companies as well, where we are combining now RCS and network APIs, which is amazingly good. So RCS is a channel where in the background, of course, because it's a boot, it's a conversation, you can revoke different kind of APIs just to double check that this person that you're communicating at the moment is the real one, and that the data that person is providing to you at the time is the relevant, and you can double check it and validate it with the network APIs towards the data that operators are holding, which is incredible for some of the businesses that are taking care about the fraud, security, etc., etc.
This is not the first time that we hear about network APIs. Even myself, in my history, I remember dealing with some of them in 2000 and something. It hasn't worked before. Network. Why did it fail? What would be different this time?
I would say, first of all, I don't know. Years ago, was not used to collaborate with each other. They were really bringing APIs to the world sporadically. Like, I'm developing SIM swap and another operator in the same country is developing something third. Even if they were developing the same use case, same SIM swap APIs, was working completely different. So in order to achieve proper market share, in order to achieve some standard, very simple single APIs towards the client side, it was complete mess on the market. And now, luckily, if you ask me, because I struggled a lot, 6 years ago to bring the first APIs to the market. If you are able to unite, at least on one country level, operators to talk together, to collaborate and to bring the same APIs at a similar time, create together go-to-market strategy with you, create the value, show the use cases, this is where we were able to benefit. This is what we did, for example, in Brazil. I mean, we are now all talking about how Brazil is successful. We are already monetizing the APIs, etc., but it was not something we did in a few days. We were working with operators, for 2 years, really, sitting together with them, collaborating, unite them to develop and to deliver to the world the proper APIs that are needed in the country. Now it's simple. We know how to do it. We know how to create a go-to-market strategy, but you can create whatever you want if you don't have simplification, collaboration, proper market share, etc., etc. But that is something that is happening now. I do believe that Open Gateway initiative helped a lot because GSMA is driving that really, let's say, with a lot of power and trying to engage. First, they start with the operators. They move to with CSP, supply side, etc. Try to unite them, try to make them to collaborate. They move to let's say aggregators, hyperscalers, etc. And now this year for them as well is more into show the value to developers and the enterprise world. And this is how it should go. Without that, we will not be successful. I do believe that every part of the ecosystem, meaning mobile network operators, hyperscalers, CPaaS providers, developers, etc., every one of us is having very specific and very important role. We cannot succeed without each others. All of us should play together to bring those APIs successfully there. Now, I think demand is the crucial. We need to come with demand and the use cases and the solutions for the market.
Let's talk about some of that demand. First, I want to signpost there 3 words from you. Simplification, collaboration, market share, and I understand market share at scale. So it needs to be easy, it needs to be working across, and it needs to be big enough. Let's talk about some of the demand. It's unfair to say how many $1 billion are we making with network APIs. We know that we're not making $billions right now, but there are some use cases. That's what we're starting to see, some first implementation is successful. You mentioned one. You mentioned Brazil with the network operators. If I'm not mistaken, Nokia was your partner there as well. But what would you be able to say, use cases or success stories do you have about network APIs that can show that this is the way forward?
Mm-hmm. So the one that are at the moment that are monetizable and we have the clients already consuming is number very fast swap detection. I believe that some others as well are working with some other APIs, but this is the one that we are now consuming from the operators and combining with different channels in our CPaaS platform. Majority for the moment, we are focusing on the bank and fintech sector, of course, because these are the ones that are really, let's say, taking care about the fraudsters' actions on the digital space. And all these use cases that at the moment are available globally are more or less for fraud prevention use cases, which is good. So, of course, today I cannot mention the names of the banks, but we have the banks in France, in UK, in Germany we are doing the pilots. In Germany, for example, it's not a bank. It's a retail. It's a store that are having the application. And for every registration, they will use number verify instead of some other authentication purpose. So I do believe that every business who is using SMS, for example, you asked me several minutes ago the comparison with SMS and want to have additional security, they are now checking about the let's say, value of the number verify. So for number verify, we need a bit more of the case studies to show to the world the value, the real value. So what is the conversion rate is better, security is better, the delivery is better, etc., etc. And once they start to use it, to be honest, whoever really started, they didn't move back to SMS. They move it for the fallback purpose. Of course, they use the SMS still, but the number verifies it's much better. Then the banks are using it in a different process of the customer journey, from the single login, changing password, the money transaction. So they are combining a number verify and SIM swap. So it is there, it is needed. And yeah, several clients are already, as I stated, live. Some are in the pilots, and I do believe that it will go further and further during the 25 and of course later. But what I would like to talk more, it's about the new use cases that will come to the market, because this one that I'm talking, we know that it's there and it's needed, but I would like to create some value about the new use cases, which are more related to network, which are more related to something that is not available, something that is not replacing existing SMS authentication, but something else that we can bring from the operators to of course prevent the fraud, and of course to take care about that your message is really delivered on the proper time and the proper value when needed.
Well, we talked about demand. We talked about some of the brands out there that are considering doing use cases. Let me take you to the role of not just selling, but suggesting to these brands. If they were to look at a network API solution, providers, etc., what kind of things do they need to look at? What kind of factors they need to take into consideration? How can they succeed? Is it security? Is it trust? Is it integration software? What needs to be top of their evaluation for a part?
For sure, difference from company to company, whatever they have struggled with. I do remember that Peter Arbitrating from T-Mobile, he said in one of the event, come with me with your challenge and give me 30 minutes. I will find you a solution with the APIs, which is more than sure it's correct. Of course, maybe that API is not at the moment live and available, but they can find APIs and solutions and data sets that they can provide to help you with your challenge. Now, of course, we have, as I stated, focusing on the fintech, because they have the real problem with the fraud, and the first use cases that are live are fraud protection APIs. But when we are talking with the brands directly, we are really talking about the numbers and how we are helping them to overcome their challenges, how we are helping them with the cost reduction, how we are because of course you need to if you're talking with the business, you need to take care about their challenges, cost reductions, etc., etc. If you're just talking about we have APIs, it's standardized, it's available, I don't know, or this and that country, is not enough. Everyone is having different challenge that we would like to solve with the APIs. With the banks, of course, if you're talking with the security team, it's the first option. They are the one who are taking care about the fraudsters. Then, of course, for sure, you need to think about the people that are really building those applications. That's why we believe that bringing those use cases description to developers world is very crucial as well. This is what we did at our Shift conference in Zadar last year, because it's a huge European conference just gathering the developers from different kind of application, etc. And that was the first time where we, let's say, presented APIs to developers community. And when we were presenting what will be agenda, that we are bringing telecom operators with us, etc., the first comment was what the mobile network operators are doing at the developers conference. They're the one very giant, boring companies, which was the first reaction. And I was first surprised, because of course I'm working on the telecom for my whole career. How do you don't know what telecoms can bring to your world? But then when we start to discuss, when we explain the use cases, how simply it is to be used, and when we had a few hackathons and exchanging idea, then I realized that their mind as well opened, and they understand that what can be done with those APIs. But you cannot do it just to, some page where you're exposing APIs. You need to go there and be with them and discuss not the APIs and the use cases, that they as well struggling while creating better application, more secure application, etc.
Well, before you mentioned RCS, and I'll let it go because I wanted to give a bit more space to network APIs and to that topic. But RCS is very interesting right now, and you brought to the table this idea that RCS and network APIs could live together. Can you tell me a bit more cases? Could you have a security and an RCS coming together? Is that going to be working? Is that real right now, or is it in future?
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it's real. It's real. We did the pilots, and it's real. Can be done. I was really when your mind is. I'm having really great opportunity in Infobip because Infobip is a CPaaS provider. We are dealing with different challenges, with different enterprises, listening what they want, how this is working. Our CPaaS platform is really amazing. We can do different kind of flows, calling different APIs from different channels, etc., etc. And then it came to my mind, I'm very much engaged with the RCS and with the network APIs. There should be a way how to combine them. And then we created a few flows. I can just describe one, which is the simplest one ever. So, for example, you have the gaming application or whatever application, and you want to send promotional RCS message towards your consumer that you didn't communicate for 6 months, for example, just to take them back to play with you again. And you send promotional messages to that number. And then you say, if you come back and play with us again, we are giving you, 100 points or whatever they are giving for the playing the games. And then you have the button, meaning that is leading you to application. When you press yes, I want to consume that 100 points and play with you again. But once you press that button, before it leads you to the application, in the RCS channel, they check the SIM swap. So if SIM swap happened in the last 6 months, that means that maybe if I send this first promotional message, Dario, to you, that maybe it's not anymore you who is holding that MSSDN. And with my application and my business, I already have your name, surname, address, maybe even a credit card stored. And if SIM swap happened, that means that maybe someone else in a legitimate manner. So you maybe terminate your contract, someone else bought the number later, and maybe now I'm calling that number. So they cannot lead you directly to your login, to your data set, etc., give you the chance to change the password. They will need to then ask you some additional questions. They will lead you to the registration page. They will ask you if this is your name, surname, some security questions, etc. They will not, the data that they have about you, they will not link immediately with that person who wants to play again after 6 months. So these kind of actions are very simple to be built. The value is there because you don't need additional agent, you don't need anything. You already have a signal that maybe someone else is in a position at that number, so you cannot link the same data to that new person, etc., etc. So very, very interesting. So, and if the SIM swap did not happen, they are leading you to the application, but instead of login, they can use number verify in the background because they know that this is the same person. And simple login can be done without even additional information. So this kind of combination can always be done. We have some for the banks which are more strict, more KYC inside, etc., etc. All the information can be, let's say, collected from the RCS channel. They ask your name, surname, everything. This is collected, stored in some, let's say, CPaaS, validated in the background, etc., and everything just in one channel. So it's.
It seems that we are trying to balance the very good yet difficult ways of simplicity on one side, like security. Very difficult balance, but I'm glad that we are there because this industry does need it. Well, towards the end, a couple of things. I'm going to at least try to squeeze 2 more questions, Viktorija, and keep you for a bit longer. Well, the first one is, we talk about your perspective. Let's look about the future of this. What needs to happen in network APIs, but I would even probably say RCS? More technical development, more use cases, or is it involvement with the brands? What needs to be prioritized by the industry right now?
Demand and involvement with the enterprise world. It's for sure. This is and for RCS and what network APIs, because all of that, both are some kind of, even though of course it's there for the years, both of them are there for the years. It's not, neither RCS is new. We are talking about RCS for, 2007 or something. But the thing is that the enterprise still don't understand what we are talking about. They don't understand the value because we are constantly talking about RCS and APIs. We are not talking about use cases, solutions, value that we are bringing to the table when we are talking with the businesses. And I think that all of us should change approach, which we are already doing, not talk about, as I stated, RCS, not talk about APIs. We should come and show what we can do and how we can help the businesses to overcome their challenges, cost savings, etc., etc. And
Very good. Next time, Viktorija, when I'll invite you again to one of these podcasts, I'll make sure that I don't invite you to talk about RCS or network APIs. Let's talk about engagement.
Yes.
Let's talk about security. Okay, it's a mental note for me. I will remember. Before I let you go, one thing also that we do here at Perspective is a bit of a reflection on the way you came to do these things. And in my way, and there's a bit of an interest about you and so on. So your path to these perspectives, so to speak, how you came to Infobip and Telco APIs was through working from a very famous, let's say, Ericsson network provider. You were a solution architect. How did that shape your next chapter? How did that brought you to talk about network APIs?
Yeah. I mean, I started my career in the telecom. My college as well was a telecom part of the experience and learnings. I started in Ericsson as a developer at that time, like yesterday, a long time ago, and moved in the different roles there. And my background is technical for sure. And then in one point of time, really wanted to check what is happening on another side, like why we are developing what we are developing, why we are creating solutions that we are creating, who needs it, how to really positioning on the market better. And I got the opportunity to come to join to Infobip. And I didn't regret it really. It's really interesting. It's completely different than the technical one, but I do believe that this technical background is helping me to understand better how to solve some of the challenges that we are seeing on the market, how to prepare the better solution and the use cases, how to create as simple as possible something that is needed on the market. So that is why I think the technical background is helping me, but I do appreciate this business side really much today.
Getting closer and closer to the demand side. Here it is, to the people out there selling the service. That is a very hot topic. I suspect, Viktorija, that we might have to go back to both the network APIs as well as the RCS. But you have a lot of challenges right now, including a lot of interesting new use cases that you're working on. I think that would be great even just to talk about that. So let's see how this industry develop. But it's great to see you here at MEF, and thank you very much for all the help that you've given us in the last few months and between our working groups. We really evaluate all of this information coming to the people in the mobile ecosystem. So for today, Viktorija, a big thank you.
Thank you, Dario, very much. I do appreciate the opportunity, and of course, I'm here to talk whenever needed about these topics. And more and more.
We will come back. Thank you very much. And for today, that's all from us at Perspectives. But remember, if you miss something, it is available on your podcast services, Spotify, Apple, etc. Find us on YouTube or on our radio at mef.media. And for today, thank you very much. Thank you, Viktorija, and thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Perspectives in Mobile. Join us next as we explore telecoms, technology, and mobile innovations. Stay tuned, stay connected, and let's unlock the mobile potential together.